Morning, everybody. This is Win Harden, broadcasting live from the Automate Live booth here at Automate 2023. I'm with Tech B2B Media, A3 business partner and media partner, and I'm with my good friend Jimmy Carroll, also from Tech B2B. Today, we're lucky enough to be talking with Cassot Robotics. And now, okay, before we get into it and I start asking questions, there's a lot of debate. Is it Cassot or Cassot?
It's Cassot.
Cassot.
Yeah.
Cassot Robotics, a 7th Axis cobot specialist, and I'm here with Dieter and Jim. So Dieter, Jim, tell us a little bit about yourselves and tell us a little bit about Cassot.
Yes, thanks for being here. My name is Dieter Pletscher. I'm Global Sales Manager from Cassot Robots. Mm-hmm. With me, our new Channel Manager for the North American market, Jim Adamski. He will introduce himself right after. I joined Cassot Robots very early in 2018, before the company was public. The company was founded in 2015 by Christian Cassot. Christian Cassot was one of the founders of Universal Robots. He developed the first Euro 5 together with two colleagues. We did go into the market in 2018-19. US first partners in the end of 2019. Of course, pandemic did not make it easier. No traveling, introducing a new product into the market. But since now starting last year, we have a lot of focus on the North American market. We have been first time on Automate last year, and now again, of course, present here. And yeah, looking forward to a tremendous show here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Jim, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm new to Cassot Robots in the U.S., but not new to automation. I've been in the automation industry for over 30 years, and spent about a third of that time selling automation product and the other 2/3 selling automation systems. And I took note of Cassot Robots a few years ago, especially with their 7-axis robot that they had.
Right.
And actually, I have experience selling collaborative robots and systems, and knowing what a 7-axis can do for you, I actually, quite frankly, reached out to Cassot, and that's why I'm here, because I was interested in going to work for the company, especially because having a company that's got one of the founders of the, or I should say, one of the pioneers of the collaborative industry as a founder is very powerful.
It is. Yeah, Christian's quite a name inside the industry. It's
Right.
amazing what they've done, for cobotics across the board. All right, so one of the hot trends, actually, should we start real quick? I heard there was some interesting news
Yes.
of Cassot. You want to tell us a little bit about what's happened in the last year?
Yes, we have been acquired, or partly acquired, by Bosch Rexroth. For us, of course, amazing history. At that time, still a very small company.
Right.
Getting part of this big player in the automation market.
Truly.
It was really, for us, a huge step. Not only, of course, financially to finance growth,
Right.
but also, of course, all the know-how that is in the Bosch Rexroth.
Yes.
And the other way around for Bosch Rexroth, of course, we were very interesting because of our 7-axis cobot. That was something that was missing for their future
portfolio.
strategy
Right.
in regards of automation in the factories. So, and now here we are, still quite a small company. We are 45 people now,
Right.
but going strong and also coming with new products during second half of the year.
Yep.
And as I said, also here now, also one robot at the Bosch Rexroth booth here on Automate. So, but for us, a very, very good and important step in our history, short history.
So you may be a small company, but that's a very big friend. That's really helpful to have. Be able to evangelize and take your technology around the world and be able to have that support and that network. That I can only imagine the amount of change that's gone on in the last 12 months. Has it been about 6 months since the acquisition?
No, it's exactly 12 months.
Exactly 12.
It was end of April that the final signing was done, and then in June there's some weeks you have to wait until everything legally is done.
Right.
But it's we have 1 year marriage now, or acquisition. It was a little bit more than a marriage. We have to from our side.
Yes, a loving marriage.
We got a mother.
It's a functional, loving marriage. That sounds like a good plan. We need more of those, that's for sure. Okay, so you touched briefly on the Cassot's unique value proposition is having the 7th axis wrist on the cobot itself.
Yeah.
And it's my understanding that really allows you to get in a lot of tight areas. It allows you to maybe be well positioned for one of your key application areas, which is machine tending.
Yes.
Right? Especially in a retrofit environment, because as we know, there are more retrofit opportunities than there are greenfield installations going in that, right? So there's just so many machining companies all around the world who can really benefit and who are struggling under labor shortages. So talk to us a little bit about machine tending, the application, and I think you've got some other interesting demos this year in the booth that are outside of that.
Yes, exactly. In general, as you mentioned, the 7-axis has some magnificent advantages. One is, when we talk about the machine tending that we can grab around the corner, we have the 7-axis. The 7-axis is the elbow of the robot. Right. The robot arm is a copy of a human arm, or we try to make a copy of a human arm, and that means we can grab around the corner. The 7-axis is the elbow. 6-axis can do that. We do that. And why is that very important for machine tending? Yeah, we are much more flexible how you design your solution. A 6-axis robot you need to put into the opening, into the door.
Right in front of the machine.
Yes, because you only can do this move.
Right.
We can put it on the corner. That means operators have always free access to the machine.
Right.
And that, of course, makes their job easier. They save time because, of course, you need access to the machine. You have to clean. Maybe you have a tool you have to change. Something is going wrong in the machine. Right. And you do not need to dismount the robot to get access. And then the flexibility also makes a big advantage in regards of space saving. Right. Because space today in the production, that's money. And if you can do an application much more compact, of course, you make the job much easier, especially retrofit, where you have given surroundings, right. And that gives you much more flexibility. And then looking at the safety, very important. If you're more flexible where to put the robot, you can put the robot there where the contact with humans is minimized. So you have a lot of advantages in flexibility and so on with the 7-axis robot. Plus we have 5 different models, so for every combination of reach and payload, we can find the right model for the customers. Right.
Right, yeah, it's a lot more than just machine tending. So when you talk about, you bring up the pandemic, right? It's hard not to talk about the importance of robots and automation technologies in general during the pandemic. So things like kitting, depalletizing, pick and place, welding. What are some, these are fairly common cobot applications, but what are some of the maybe unique or innovative applications you've seen deployed with your cobots over the past 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, one thing you mentioned is welding. We have a very nice welding application on our booth here at Automate with our partner Blue Layer Robotics. But welding is one of, not only the US, we see and hear the same in Europe. I heard a figure, I'm not 100% sure how exact that figure is, but that in 2025 there will miss 400,000 welders in the North American market. And the welding jobs needs to be done. Right. So there's only one way, automation. And there I think the cobot, and especially also the 7-axis cobot, has advantages because it's flexible. And it's easy to manage for the operator after a short training how to handle the robot to do the welding jobs. And why do I mention again the 7-axis is, the 7-axis also allows you any moves, given moves, to keep a constant speed. And with the 7-axis you can more or less avoid singularities. So this self-collision of the robot. And of course also that makes the whole programming and designing of the application easier, and it's easier to make a proper job for the robot.
Does that allow you to simplify the fixtures a little bit, able to weld in the bottom as well as the top of the part with that 7th axis? Is that part of it, as well as the speed control for perfect bead?
Yeah, but very important is, if it's welding or dispensing, is that you have everywhere a constant, the same speed. Otherwise you have too much or too less of the material, or it gets too hot, or you get not enough temperature for the welding process. But the 7-axis allows you, it doesn't matter how complicated the application is, or the path you have to run is, to have a constant speed, because we have the 7-axis. Right. The 6-axis coming from the shoulder. At one step you need to flip over, and then you have too much or not enough of the material.
Right.
And that makes it just easier and saves time when you make develop the application.
Yeah, you talk about, you mentioned that you have a welding partner in your booth today.
Yeah.
Partnerships are very important, obviously. I've met some of your U.S. partners. In the automation space in general, partners are very important. Can you talk to me about that, not just with integrators, but also vendors? Like, I'm sure that you work with vision companies and gripper companies and things like that.
Yes, we are...
Well, just so you know, we truly are live here. That's not the voice of God. That's Jeff Bernstein making an announcement. So just FYI, the proof that we are truly live right now.
We are live, yes.
This doesn't happen in recorded scenarios, people. All right, go ahead, Dieter, I'm sorry.
No, we are working very hard at the moment to grow this external network of suppliers that can give grippers, camera systems, everything what you need to make a proper solution. And Azuril is also one of our partners. They also have one of our robots here, a Swiss company for camera systems.
Very interesting part feeding technology.
Yes, and that we are working very hard, also with a lot of help of Bosch Rexroth. Of course, they have quite nice contacts in that world.
Yes, they do.
And also, of course, Jim then in the US market, from his 30 years of experience, knows a lot of people. And there we are still very hard working on, because without this around the robot network, it doesn't work. The robot arm in itself can move, but cannot do a job. Yeah? So I fully agree that is a very, very important point.
Cool, and you said we can see a welding function pack all set up with your partner Blue Bay in the booth. What booth or number are you in?
Oh,
I didn't mean to put him on the spot.
4803.
4803. And so that's fantastic. We'll be sure to swing by and check that out and see if we can get some video and share with you guys later on. Jim, it's a real pleasure to meet you. I know we're going to see a bunch more of you across North America. Good luck with the channel management.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. And from here at Automate Live, myself, Jimmy Carroll, we look forward to seeing you in the next session.